Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to hopefully your favorite show on the internet, Midnight Therapy. I'm your host, Kat Matthews. I had to do a quick, hopefully, emergency podcast on a Wednesday. Hopefully, you get this on a Wednesday. I've been very busy. You almost didn't get an episode this week. Been super busy, crunch time, going crazy, million things to do, no time to even sit down, no time to even take a poop, nothing. I had Wimpies for dinner last night at like 8:45. That's very late for a Wimpy. Bold. It's bold to eat a Wimpy that late. And I'm also a little sick. I have this sickness. You could probably hear it in my voice. It's like a cold or pneumonia, one or the other. But it's there. But I had to do this podcast because World War III is like breaking out. And I guess as a influencer, if that's what you call me, or a voice in the media, or a unlicensed therapist or a podcast host, I have to talk about this. I'm being bombarded by messages from people of all walks of life at all hours of the day, and I can't read them. And when I do, it's just impending doom. So I'll read a little, and then I'll go back to the people farting on people at Walmart videos, and it makes me feel a little better. But again, I am not a news broadcaster. I'm not a journalist. I am not a licensed therapist. I'm just a cowboy in the basement ranting. So if anything, consider this like a little recap, but do your own research. You know, this is not a peer-reviewed scholarly source. I feel like these disclaimers are self-evident, but you never know. So obviously there's a conflict going on right now with Iran and Israel. It's looking a little World War III-ish. It's looking like Iran might be taken out or close to in the near future. I don't think that's going to make Iran's allies happy. I don't know if it's going to make China happy. I don't know. Again, just a cowboy in the basement. But Israel launched this Operation Rising Lion, I believe it was called. Pretty interesting name. Remember a couple podcasts ago I talked to you about like Leo, like Pope Leo, the age of Leo, the age of great resets. I don't know. Probably not connected. But a lot of lion themes going on, if you're paying attention. I guess this attack was on June 13th. Strikes on Iran. Retaliation happened. Trump and other nations may have been aware that this was going to happen. I think we know for sure Trump was aware. So the United States knew that Israel was going to do this, and maybe they didn't endorse it or execute it, themselves, but they knew, they were aware of this. Not the best. We've seen this movie before. This movie is like Beauty and the Beast. It's the tale as old as time. It's let's destabilize Middle Eastern countries and then fight proxy wars over there for years and fuel a military-industrial complex and have the people back home be patriotic and we'll do regime change over there and we'll bring them capitalism and democracy and Starbucks. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. And now the newest thing is Trump and other countries, many other countries, are now warning people to evacuate Tehran. This isn't good. Trump left that G7. Was it G7? It was in Canada. There was a meeting, a summit. I believe it was called the G7 summit. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But they left in a hurry. Trump left in a hurry, came back to D.C. and was in the war room or the situation room. So that's not great. Not great. I guess Israel was striking the nuclear reactor sites in Iran. That's what they're so worried about, that Iran cannot have a nuke. But does Israel have nukes? Do we have nukes? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know where we became. This is where I'm going to get into a thing here. I don't think what is right is necessarily the same as what is allowed or legal. Like a law can be wrong morally. I always say this about abortion. You could have an opinion on what you think abortion is, but then you could have a whole separate opinion on if you think what that is should be legal or illegal. Like you could be against smoking. I smoking's no good, but you could still think that it should be legal. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, smoking's bad, but I think you should be allowed to do it. Drinking is bad; it kills more people than anything every year. But I still think you should be allowed to crack a twisted tea. Anywho, I don't know if Iran should have a nuke. I would say probably not. Me being the cowboy in a basement, I don't think that's a good idea. But do I think the United States of America, that's an ocean away, 2 oceans away, should be dictating that and enforcing that and sending its own people and materials and supplies and weaponry to upkeep that? I don't know. I don't know. We seem to be very loyal to Israel and the Jewish people. I don't know. You could speculate why that is. It's a hub, it's a satellite. It is a embassy, if you will, for the US to have some territory, some skin in the game over in the Middle East. I get it. I get it. But it's like, who needs who? Is it Israel needs us? Is it we need Israel? Because they kind of did this attack without our blessing. I get life isn't really like that. There's no kissing of the ring and Father, do you support this? Like, it's not like that. I get they're separate countries, but we didn't give the okay. Kind of went against, kind of was counterintuitive to all the progress we were trying to make or alluded to making. Maybe there was no progress. Maybe it was all garbage. Maybe it was all lies. Probably was. We had the Iran deal under Obama where, we claimed that we were prolonging Iran from having nuclear weapons by giving them a ton of money. Now all the fact checkers are going to be like, well, actually, it was their money. Okay, there was backyard deals going on, backdoor deals rather. A lot of shady stuff with that deal in the Obama administration, but they got a lot of money from us. I wonder what they did with it. But some would say, including me, that some of it went towards funding some sort of terrorism. And you could fact check that. It's true, nobody is perfect. Iran could make a bomb right now and probably already has one. I'm going to tell you that. They claim they don't, and our experts, our intelligence that said we couldn't put a sniper on the roof where President Trump was shot in Butler, PA because it was too sloped. Those people, those trustworthy people in that vicinity of our intelligence, the big, I'm generalizing the group of our intelligence, tells us that they only have 60% purity in their uranium and they need 90 to make a nuke. And that helps people that watch The View sleep better at night. Well, thank God they can't make a nuke because Joy Behar told me. Okay. We have no idea what's going on. I was scared. I was looking at stuff. People, like good people I know, sending me stuff about this Samson option. Look that up. I'm not going to even explain that on this show because it is over my pay grade and it is stemmed back thousands of years. This plan, this option. But essentially, it's if we're going to lose, we're going to take everything out. So that's not looking good. See, the problem is when you have people fighting in a way in which they think God is on their side. That is the problem. Like, we are the chosen people, or God is on our side. He favors our endeavors. That's when it gets iffy, because then you could justify atrocious things. super atrocious things like the death of innocent people, women and children. For what? I don't know. To circle back, I don't think nukes are the best idea. I don't think nukes are even that prevalent anymore. I'm going to be honest, because I think an AI is more powerful than a nuke because I feel like it could override a nuke or the nuke code. So I think the real person with the power is who has the super AI running on a, what is it called? What do they call those computers? Quantum computers. Maybe that is the new nuke. Maybe you could fry the computer system of the nuke instantly with an AI or hack it. Who knows? You got to think. It's 4D chess. You got to think. But Trump is still loyal to Israel as of today. Will there be a double cross? Probably. He will double cross anyone, any country, any entity, any organization, as we have seen. Now, I've seen him be not compromised, but I saw him put on the yarmulke and touch the temple wall. I've seen it. Like you've seen it. They all do that. All the US presidents do that. They're loyal to Israel. Israel's a very small nation, and the Jewish people make up I don't know, 1% of the population. It is a little odd that the first world powerhouse country, the United States of America, is still loyal to them, regardless of what they do. Any war Israel asked us to go into, we did. Look it up. No questions asked. Anything you need, Israel. It's a little odd and fishy, and I have to say it. And there's all these conspiracies that the Jewish people rule the world and all that, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Is it true? Do we need Israel? Or does Israel need us? Like, what is it? Or is it both? And if so, why? Anyways, this is what's annoying me. Donald Trump was supposed to be the president that stopped the wars. He was an anti-war president, still being loyal to Israel no matter what. We are no longer hearing anything about Ukraine and Russia. We're no longer hearing anything about anything. This is the news story. It's like a Mexican standoff. Like, who is going to turn on who? Like, that is kind of what I feel every minute of every day now. Like I said, I wouldn't put it past Trump turning on Israel. I really wouldn't. You have a lot of people here that are kind of against the unconditioned support of Israel. I'm going to be honest. Now, here's the thing: either Trump is a genius, time traveling, savvy businessman that knows the secrets of the universe, and his whole family has known that for years. And he's playing a game, and he knows exactly why he's protecting Israel. And it has to do with the Ark of the Covenant. It has to do with Ingersoll Lockwood, and it has to do with the time machine and the Tesla files. That could be true, and I hope it is. Or Trump is just a grifter that is in way over his head, and in the midst of World War III, he's trying to sell more cheap Trump branded items. Now, maybe there's somewhere in the middle. It's probably somewhere in the middle. But just to aid my point, he did launch a watch, a Trump watch. You saw that. I see the ads. I'm like, what? This is the president. What are you doing? I'll be watching one of those fart videos. And then the ad will come up. This is President Donald J. Trump, and this is the greatest watch of all time. It is never late, and it's always on brand, making you look fresh. I'm President Trump, and I endorse this message. And it's an ad for his watch. I'm like, what? Could you imagine an Obama watch? I'm just saying, it wouldn't sell. But he made those gold sneakers. Remember that? He had the gold sneakers. I wouldn't, if I had a pair, I might wear them. I'm going to be honest. But still grifty. And now he's doing like a knockoff iPhone. You see, it's a Trump phone. It's gold. So somebody, you got to think of it like this. Somebody was like, Mr. President, like, should we still launch the Trump phone today? He goes, why wouldn't we? It's like, oh, I don't know, because, Iran is getting bombed. And he's like, no, launch it. Launch the Trump phone. Hey, look, these people, these children, kids are gonna die anyways, regardless of if we launch the phone or not. So, and they go, oh, okay, Mr. President, we'll launch it. That conversation did go on, and he thought it was important, or his people in charge of that thought it would still be important to launch the knockoff iPhone, Trump phone that's gold plated on the same day or the same time period of the this Iran situation. Which makes you wonder, when he's in that war room, does he know what's going on? Like, does he have a plan? I don't know. He has a concept of a plan for sure. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on in the world. I don't really know what to say. Back home, things are odd. We had the No Kings protest. Remember that? It feels like it was so long ago. It was only this weekend. It was all over the country. It was in all the big cities. Um, it was, let's just cut to the chase. This was all orchestrated and planned. And on the last episode, I didn't think this cause was going to get as big as like the BLM cause during the George Floyd riots, but I was wrong. With enough social media effort and enough paid people, you can orchestrate this, you know, effort if you wish. And it happened. I saw all the flyers all over Facebook, telling people to get out, telling people it's historic, telling people why, telling people what to do. There was bus trips planned. I saw. If you put enough money behind it, it'll work. And let's not be. Let's cut to the chase. Let's not beat around the bush. This whole farce, the No Kings protest, whatever the hell that is, was funded by Democratic organizations. And don't take my word, look it up. Nonprofits, PACs, unions, everybody over there was like $2 billion put into this thing to have people march with their Dollar Tree signs. For what? Like, what was it for? I don't know. It was odd, but whatever. I mean, if you care that much about illegal immigration, then good for you. I'm happy for you. Let's not also forget that China was funding some of these too. If you want to go down the rabbit hole, you could look up a few things. Here's your homework. Why do people say Jews rule the world? And what is China's smokeless war option or Operation Smokeless War? There's your two homework assignments. You didn't hear it from me. I'm just a cowboy in a basement. But yeah, they tried to destabilize a bit. I always say sometimes you bite off more than you could chew. Like, remember the Trump Musk thing, which they're friends again. I don't know if I mentioned they're friends again. Musk apologized. I'm so sorry. I might have been out of line. It was like a drunken divorced mom. It was like the divorced wife, or the wife filing for divorce got drunk one night and sent all these mean texts, and the next day she goes, "I didn't mean it." It was that. But you remember that was in the news, and then all the other stuff happens, and we forget all about that. Like, they were going to run with the No Kings protest thing for weeks. But then I don't know where this Iran Israel thing came over, and that took the spotlight away. But it is all calculated. The media tells you what they want you to see. They make you feel a sort of way. And with these protests, they will get the people there. Trust me. They have a way. And it's worth it to have the people there. And it's worth it to have the news coverage on the people there. And if they have to put a pile of bricks out and put some, agent provocateurs in the crowd, they will. They will. It makes good TV, makes good content, you know? Juxtapose the No Kings protest on the same day, same timeline. You have Trump's military parade, 250th anniversary of the Army. People are saying low turnouts. They said the same thing about Trump's inauguration the first time. I don't really care. I watched some of it. I had a diaper party that day, and we were at the bar. And I was getting diapers and drinking beverages and watching the military parade. And it was like, I mixed opinions about this too. Here's both sides of that. Do I think it's nice to give respect to the military and to make them feel appreciated? 100%. I think we have parades for, let's say, lesser causes. I think there are parades for almost anything. And that's fine. Nobody bats an eye. But the military, without the military, they really wouldn't be, a country. So to have a parade for them and make them feel appreciated and special, I'm okay with that. I endorse that idea. I like the patriotism. Now, do I like the idea of tanks and military vehicles going down the street like North Korea? No, I don't. It felt a little Germany like, felt a little North Korean, a little Chinese. I feel a lot of American pride, but I don't know if we need to be doing that. Costs like $50 million, I think. I don't know. Those are the both sides. What I liked is those robot killer dogs. Did you see those? That was like right out of the Black Mirror episode. The United States Army, I guess, has robot killer dogs that they're willing to show the public. What they aren't willing to show the public is the robot killer humans, the humanoid robots they have, like the Boston Dynamics robot, that are equipped with guns, and the drones equipped with guns. Those dogs are going to be equipped with guns too, but for the parade, they were just fun. Fun. The tanks are fun. But no, I'm torn on that. I don't know if I like it or hate it. But either way, I understand what message it sends, you know? Um, Unfortunately, there's a split in the Trump party. I'm not even going to call it the Republican Party because there is no Republican Party anymore. It's not Mitt Romney's party anymore. It's Trump's party. The Mitt Romney Republican Party is dead. They will never win an election, as do I believe the Democratic Party is dead. The Progressive Party is alive and well, though, sort of. But the Trump party is splitting a bit over this Israel Iran thing, I will say. Trump supporters are criticizing some of his decisions, including prominent ones like Tucker Carlson, that gave him some constructive criticism. And of course, Trump can't take that and just immediately insults. That's his strategy, that's his playbook. So he bit back hard at Tucker, completely discredited him either way. Tucker's been pretty, consistent with his stance on war in the military industrial complex. And I think him and many other Americans, including Trump supporters, see that this is just the new Iraq. Iran is just the new Iraq. It is a movie we've all seen before, and we don't want to watch it again. Understand that? The tensions in this country have never been higher. At my local Lowe's, there was a execution style killing this past weekend. A guy was murdered. He was shot in the chest, and then as he was begging for his life, the guy came over and shot him in the face and killed him. These were both Lowe's employees at like 4 a.m. I believe he shot him in the store. They cleaned the blood up quick before the people came in to buy stuff for their house renovation projects. Moral of the story is tensions are crazy high now. The anxiety's high. You turn on the TV, World War III, Samson option, blah, blah, blah. I can't keep up with it. I don't know what to do. I never thought I was going to do an emergency podcast today on World War III. Do you know what I really wanted to talk about? I had a whole list of things I was going to talk about, funny, lighthearted things. I had a whole bit I was going to do. I had multiple. I had to cut them all. But today's big one was I was going to talk about Arthur and this little Chinese knockoff Arthur I got from the Dollar Tree. Look at him. This isn't movie quality. This isn't TV quality. I think the PBS, Trump's cutting PBS. But this is actually an official Arthur product that they outsourced to China, and they made it pretty poor, but not the worst. Kind of nice. But the one thing I want to touch on before I leave here, I know we talked about a lot of important things today, is why is Arthur like an anthropomorphic human character in the show, and he has a dog as a pet? Like he himself is an aardvark, which is in the anteater family. But why does an aardvark have a dog as a pet? Why are there pets in the animal world? Like in this animal universe, like there's a dog character that's a human. He's an anthropomorphic, upright, bipedal human character. But then there's also dogs. Same with the Goofy. The Goofy in the Disney universe. Mickey's buddy Goofy is a dog, but so is Pluto. But Pluto walks on all fours and doesn't talk and barks, and Goofy is a human with a job and he drives a car. And he has intimate relationship. He has one with a cow named Clarabelle. I don't think anyone ever thinks deep about things. Like some people just watch, like, oh, it's just a cartoon. But no, I'm seeing the symbolism. I'm seeing what they're doing. But see, this little aardvark should not be able to have dominion over a puppy. And there shouldn't be different classes of animals in the show where some talk and have jobs and are equal to human in society while others are pets on a leash eating kibble. This show is brought to you in part by Jack's Pub and Eatery and Three Saints Barber Shop, located in historic downtown Jessup, Pennsylvania. Speaking of historic downtown Jessup, Pennsylvania, I do want to touch on this very quickly. There was a scheduled train ride from Scranton. It was Scranton has all the steam trains and the train house and the museums, and it's a very train centered city. And our town scheduled this local train shop. Shout out to them. Scheduled a ride from Scranton to Jessup, historic downtown Jessup, Pennsylvania. And a steam train came with 180 people on it and dropped them off for 3 hours in Jessup at the local Jessup train station, where we have lots of festivities and wine tastings and blah, blah, blah. Unfortunately, it was on a Sunday that was rainy and all the businesses were closed and there was nothing going on. So there was all these out of towners aimlessly walking around Jessup for 3 hours. And I was, doing my errands, running around. I was like, who are these people? What are they doing? Why are they sitting on stoops? Why are they looking at empty buildings? Why is there a line out the one breakfast shop that was open? Why is the line like 5 miles long? I was very confused. Why is there smoke? And you go down, there's a giant steam train just parked there. If I had my taxidermy Jessup Chupacabra and a freak show tent, I would have made so much money that day. So just like the trade shop that planned this, and just like me, fail to prepare to fail. And with that being said, that's my message for Donald Trump in the United States of America. I love America. I don't think we should have more nukes in the world. We should have more love. Less nukes, more love. Thank God I have anti-nuke spray in my bug out bag and I'll be fine. But for all of you out there, we don't want a nuclear war. We don't. That's game over. Checkmate. That's another reset. That's another reset. So let's try to be peaceful. And remember, let's not fail to prepare, because we don't want to prepare to fail. We want to be ready. Let's go in peacefully. Let's try to come up with a deal. Let's not kill everyone, okay? Hopefully next week I could talk about more like Arthur lighthearted stuff. But unless it's World War III, which it very well could be by the time this episode airs. So with that being said, stay curious, my friends. Good night.